Welcome back to Tales from the Glass-Guarded World and Paxton and the Rugbuds. A quick warning for this episode that there's a pretty gruesome injury that takes place in it towards the beginning during the combat. I know that for some reason violence doesn't really apply to being family friendly or not, but either way, if you'd like to avoid it, you can skip to around the 34-minute mark. There's no judgments here. When last we left our ragged rogues, they were just leaving the City of Two, and once again were ambushed by Varen Bluefire. And speaking of bushes, there appears to be arrows coming out of one. Couple that with a red-haired barbarian/sorcerer, and an elf with daddy issues and a death wish, and our squad seems to be in trouble. Will Paxton be able to disarm Varen without literally disarming him? Will the Lumpens be able to overcome their much larger adversaries? What will the combat music be like in this episode? Will it feature accordions? Let's find out now. Welcome. So when last we left you guys, you were in the thick of it, facing this motley crew organized by Varen who had ambushed you. So far, the only ones you've actually seen are Varen and Frederick, this roided out bard guy. However, it is now Paxton, your turn. I believe you are near Charles. He had just escaped your grasp and got up out of your grip and had turned around, but he was still, I think, prone, and you had a axe kind of positioned at his arm to cut it off.
Yeah, was that that wasn't my spiritual weapon, was it?
I believe that was your spiritual weapon.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm starting my turn. I'm on top of him, or I'm not on top of him. I'm near him, but he's still on the ground, but not grappled.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to start by using my spiritual weapon, use my bonus action to attack him, chop at his arm, and let's see.
Wow, just going straight for the arm chop.
Yeah, that's all I got left.
All right.
That is a 26 to hit.
That does indeed. That actually meets, so...
Ooh.
No, just kidding. No, if this were Pathfinder, that would be a critical hit. Yeah, you hit.
10 damage.
All right. So your spiritual weapon comes chopping down on his arm, and you hear him yell out in pain as this spiritual weapon just buries itself into his arm.
Does he drop the sword, though?
He does not.
He does not. Okay. As it's chopping at his arm, I'm going to walk up to him. I think if he's prone, and you do melee attacks against someone who's prone, you get advantage, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Holy Short Sword of Radiance.
Oof, man.
Is that a magical item, or is that an expression of surprise?
Holy Short Sword of Radiance, Batman.
Holy short sword of radiance!
That is a 22 to hit.
That hits.
Okay, and I'm trying to jam it in his wrist. I'm trying to attack the tendons that would be holding onto it to where he has no physical choice but to relax his grip.
You're trying to stigmata him with the Holy Short Sword?
Yeah. It's 6 to hit. Or not 6 to hit, 6 damage. Because it was a 22 to hit.
Alright, so 6 damage.
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, that definitely hits and it digs in. And he does not release his grip, but you see a glow from the sword as you do that. So it seems like the sword itself is almost forcing him to maintain his grip on it.
Okay, I've got one more attack.
All right.
I want to just try to kick the sword out of his hand. I'm going to kick his hand as hard as I possibly can.
Okay.
Would that be an unarmed strike?
Yes.
Okay. Got a 16 and... Ooh. 16 out of 12. Does the 16 hit?
A 16 does hit.
Ooh, okay. And that is apparently an undefined 4, according to D&D Beyond.
4.
Yeah.
You rolled an error 404?
Yes. Yeah. Weapon not found. That's what an unarmed strike is.
Isn't disarming strike a battle master maneuver you could use?
I am not a battle master. I'm an Eldritch Knight.
I thought you had a maneuver.
I thought I did too. I have too many fighter characters and too many campaigns that are all battle masters. But yeah, that's 4 damage.
So yes, he feels that, and it is painful, but he continues to hold on. And you see his arm like jerks and almost like goes out of socket as you kick it away. But his grip is just like dead set holding onto this sword.
What the heck, Baron? Just let it go.
You see there's like tears in his eyes of just the amount of pain that he just went through. It was pretty rough. All right, it is now Iron Lumpen. This guy has come up. He's been trying to chop you down with his hand axes. He's coming at you. What would you like to do?
Let's see. I'm still standing next to him, right?
Yes. So you were not blown back by his shockwave thing.
You know, Iron Lumpen is gonna realize that this guy has like 5 feet of height on me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to bring him down to my level. I'm gonna try to grapple him and knock him and bring him down. I'm just gonna try to hug his legs and shove as hard as I can.
Okay.
What's that? Just an athletics check, or what do I do?
Sure. We'll say an athletics check.
That's a 7.
Yeah. So, well, I'll still roll to resist. He feels your little shove up against his feet, and you just kind of like push yourself into him. You just kind of like face plant into his legs as you do it, and he just starts laughing hysterically.
It 100% just looks like a toddler giving him a hug.
Yeah, it's like a little teddy bear just comes and like pushes him. So he laughs and just kind of shuffles his feet. He does not seem super worried by it.
All right.
It is now Napkin Lumpen's turn.
Okay, so right now we can still see there's Charles, and then there's the barbarian, and then is there also someone shooting at us from the bushes?
Yes, there appears to be arrows coming from the bushes that have been attacking Paxton.
Can you give me a description of the barbarian again?
He is very tall. He's probably about like 6'4". He's got bright red hair and like a handlebar mustache, or I don't know what you would call it. It's like the mustaches that they don't have the chin part. It's like a beard without the chin.
Yeah, handlebar.
Yeah. So anyways, he has that kind of mustache, and he had sleeves, like very fluffy, poofy sleeves when he first walked out, but he like flexed and they popped off. But he seems very like fancifully and colorfully dressed, but he seems to also be pretty jacked. And he's got a double-bladed scimitar and 2 hand axes, and then a lute tied to his back.
But he's attacking with the scimitar or the hand axes?
He's attacking with the hand axes right now.
So I'm going to try doing dissonant whispers, so he hears whispering all around him.
Your shirt looked better with the sleeves on it. Your hair is red. Your face has a thing under your nose.
You're just stating facts about me. Those are literally just facts.
But it's really creepy, so he has to take a wisdom save versus 12, I think.
All right, so he failed.
Okay, so he's going to take 3d6 psychic damage, and he has to flee.
Ooh, okay.
Awesome.
3d6 psychic damage and must immediately use its reaction, if available, to move as far as its speed allows away from you. The creature doesn't move into obviously dangerous ground, such as a fire or a pit, on a successful save.
Okay. So he hears that, and he goes, "You're just stating facts, but for some reason it's actually quite hurtful." and he starts to, like, you see him slowly start to move towards in the opposite direction away from you. All right, and how much damage was that?
7.
7 damage. Okay. He slowly starts to kind of lumber away from you. It is now the Tolf's turn. He's going to use magic missiles on this guy. He does some damage. And then the other 2 guys are going to get up. One of them will make his way towards this guy, and he is going to try and swipe at him with his sword. He rolls an attack to hit him, and it misses. And then let's see what the other guy does. The other guy will also fire some magic missiles and hit him, and they're slowly whittling his health down. You see just these magical darts go boom, 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 and are just like kind of smashing him and running into him all over, but he still remains standing and seems to be in fairly good condition. These are all doing full damage, though, because he is not raging at the moment due to having cast a spell. Because he had a feature that even when he's raging, even magical attacks were halved. So They're all taking full damage because of Pavel's good catch.
That's a good feature.
So it is now back to Varen and his friend's turn. All right, so Varen, he's going to look at you, Paxton, with these tears just now pouring down his face as he stands up. He kind of quivers as he stands up. You can tell that he's in a lot of pain. You hear him say, "Why can't you just die? Why? It's not fair." And he will come swinging at you. He's actually going to use his bonus action to draw a flame blade in his offhand. So he's not actually going to use his... Well, actually, no. He'll use his heat metal on you, actually, because he's not touching you right now.
Did he roll concentration checks all the times he got his hand stabbed?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good call. Good. So he took an attack on the spiritual weapon.
An attack on his hand, an attack on his wrist.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so he failed on that first one.
Ooh.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So he failed, and so that you feel your armor start to cool down, Paxton. After you had attacked him the first time with your spiritual axe, you feel your armor cool off.
I forgot that heat metal was active. I should have had disadvantage on my attack rolls.
Oh no.
Which would have balanced out to being regular, because he was prone.
Yeah.
I think that means that the first attack would have hit, but the kick him in the hand wouldn't have hit.
Okay, well, the first attack actually dismissed the heat metal, so it works out fine.
Podcast magic.
2 wrongs
That's
make a
right.
right. Just like every time.
Yeah.
That's right. But 2 lefts don't. But 3 lefts do.
We'll fix it in post.
Editor's note: I didn't fix it in post.
He is going to come at you then, and he is going to use his flame blade to put a magical fiery blade in his offhand, not holding Vendetta.
Mm-hmm.
That costs a bonus action to use, so he can only attack you with Vendetta first. And he'll attack you with Vendetta, and that's a 26.
You got me.
Yes!
You got me.
It is a 16 plus 10.
Paxton looks horrified.
Yeah. Pain? What is this? It doesn't do a crazy amount of damage, though, unfortunately. All right, it does 8 damage.
Alrighty.
And he will continue to just come charging towards you, and he's ready to kind of fend you off however he can. All right, then we have Frederick. He turns to you, little Lumpen, and he's still kind of laughing and chuckling, and he seems to be enjoying fighting you. He doesn't really seem to be upset at you. However, he cracks his neck, and you see the veins pop up in his neck again. He's going to come at you with his 2 hand axes, little Iron Lumpen.
Wait, does he not have to flee? I thought he failed to save.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So he would have fleed on his reaction, which I think is earlier, isn't it?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so he'll run on his reaction to get away from... How does it work?
Does Lumpen get a attack of opportunity?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so why don't you take an attack of opportunity while I'm looking up Dissonant Whispers, Iron Lumpen?
Alrighty, attack of opportunity. Yep, I'm gonna try and hack at this. Oh, come on. 8.
All right, so an 8 will miss. So he starts to back away, and it's like you were just about to swing at him, and you're like, "Yes, this is my moment!" But then he steps away from you because of the little napkin Lumpen spell, and it misses. So he used his reaction to move away.
Okay.
But now, can he use his movement to move back?
Yeah, I think after he flees, I think he's just back to normal.
Yeah. So he moves. I guess he won't be able to move anywhere back to where you guys are at. Let's see if he has any spells. What he's going to do is he's going to point a finger actually at you, Iron Lumpen. Or actually, he's going to point a finger at Atolf because he's getting sick of those magic missiles. He actually doesn't really see Iron Lumpen as a threat anymore.
Hey!
He's going to point his finger at Atolf and cast True Strike. So that will be his turn, and it will now go to whoever is in the bushes. And let's see if they are able to hit you, Paxton. All right, a 28.
No.
Nope.
Just kidding. Yeah. That is.
That's going to deal 13 damage.
Oh my goodness.
Oof.
Oh, and That's cool. I didn't even know he had that. All right, so he has Horde.
I don't like the sound of that.
So he has Horde Breaker. He can fire again to somebody who's close.
Hit Varen.
So he's going to attack. So who would be closest to Paxton and Varen? We'll say he's going to shoot for Napkin Lumpen. It's a 23 to hit.
Yeah, hits me.
All right. And he does
I'm not even going to look it up.
He does 7 damage to you, little Napkin Lumpen.
Okay. Whoa!
So you see 2 arrows come flying out of the bushes, and one just buries itself into like your lower back, Paxton, and the other one, another one immediately comes flying out and hits little Lumpen and just kind of pierces through his shoulder.
Whoa!
It's kind of one of those like movie, the action hero wounds where it's like right in the shoulder, where it's like not near any vital organs.
Right, all of my vital organs.
Not near the little heart that they sew in and they have you blow a kiss on it or make a wish or
also, between my shoulders.
Yeah. All right. At this point, we'll go back to you, Paxton, and then we'll do Iron Lumpen, and we'll see what happens after that. So, Paxton, it is now your turn again.
Paxton realizes that kind of tiptoeing around this and trying to hold back is not working, and that if he doesn't do something drastic, he will die.
Yeah.
So he's just going to let loose and just go crazy on Varen's wrist and try to sever his hand.
Oh, gosh.
So, let's see. First attack is a natural 1.
It just misses.
Attack number 2. Ooh, that's a natural 2. Oh, it's an 11.
Getting better.
Yeah, so you're just making your way at him, and he's now, you see just this fire in his eyes, and he's just kind of effortlessly dodging around these attacks.
Paxton's panicking. He is going to pop his action surge, try to go for it. It's a 28 to hit.
That one will hit.
And that's 11 damage.
Ooh. All right. So he's starting to look pretty beat up.
He matches me then. And then the final attack, it's a 25, and that does 9 damage.
So this is a bit gruesome, so I apologize to any younger listeners. But you do see, like, these, after you're just digging in with this sword and just, or your sword and just bearing it down, you do see that the tendons in the hand are starting to show. Like, it's bleeding pretty profusely, and it seems like it's not quite as connected to his arm as it used to be.
Does it seem like he'd still be able to, like, wield it and hit with it effectively?
It does not seem like he would be able to hit with it as effectively.
It seems to still have just as much of a grasp on him, though.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
His hand seems pretty glued to it, but you don't think he would be quite as effective as he was before.
Gotcha.
It is now Iron Lumpen, your turn.
Okay, so unfortunately the barbarian is further away than I can actually get to.
Because his little legs won't carry him.
Yeah. My little stubby iron legs. I'm just going to prepare an action. If anyone comes within 20 feet of me who is an enemy, I'm going to charge at them.
Okay.
That's all I can do at the moment.
Napkin Lumpen?
Okay, Napkin Lumpen looks at Charles and he says, "Me, I don't like you, Charles. Charles is enough, you can't get no love from me. Hanging with your glass sword on your sword hand side, trying to stab at Pax. I don't like you, Charles. Charles is enough, you can't get no love from me. Hanging with your glass sword on your sword hand side, trying to stab at Pax."
That was a good answer.
That was good.
That is a vicious mockery.
Vicious mockery.
So,
all right. I like it.
That was very
So
vicious.
what does he roll?
that's 3 damage, and he gets disadvantage on his next attack.
Does he roll a save against it?
Yeah, it's a wisdom save.
All right. So he rolled a 10.
It's not enough.
Okay. 3 damage and disadvantage on his next attack. Okay. All right.
That's my turn.
All right. And now Tolf is beginning to run out of spell slots, but he will do Firebolt is a cantrip, right?
Yep.
He'll try and hit him with a firebolt that will hit Frederick, and he is not raging because he used a spell, so it will do its full damage. And he's using these rages up like candy, and they're not getting very far. And then the one will come at Frederick again with his sword, and he will hit. And then the other one he has got another spell slot left. He'll use a magic missile, and that will take Frederick down a little bit more. Yeah, Frederick is actually looking pretty rough now. He's been taking him quite the beating. Varen is screaming at you, Paxton, with just tears pouring down his face, just blood pouring out of his hand. And he says, Why? Why are you alive? And he's dead. It doesn't make any sense. And he comes at you, and he is going to actually swing at you with that partially severed hand. And so it'll be with disadvantage, but he already had disadvantage, I suppose, from the Napkin Lumpen's attack.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a... Oh, man. It's a bummer. It would have been a 29 if it wasn't with disadvantage. But it is a 13, which I do not believe will hit.
No.
All right, and then he's going to attack you with his flame blade, though, with his other hand. And is it disadvantage on all his attacks?
Oh, just the one attack. Just his next one.
Okay, so so I assume then a 21 won't hit you.
Correct.
All right, so he comes swinging at you with his flame blade and his other sword hand. Both of them miss you.
Dude brought a sword to an armor fight.
Yes.
That's right.
I forgot he has Hellish Rebuke. I should have been using those. What am I doing? He will come swinging at you and miss, and then it will be Frederick's turn. He's going to come running towards the Tolf, so he'll run by you, Iron Lumpen.
Ooh, then yeah, Iron Lumpen is going to he's gonna run the 20 feet, and he's gonna try to hit him with one of his hand axes. That will be a 15.
A 15 hits.
Yes, and because I took the charger feat, that's gonna do really. Okay, 8 damage. That's still not too terrible, but I rolled a 1 on my d6.
So he comes running by you, and he hasn't even turned on his rage again yet. But he comes running by you because he's just kind of completely ignored you and completely just kind of disregarded you, thinking, oh, well, all right, this guy's not worth my time. And then all of a sudden he just feels like this little lumpkin just bury himself into his legs, and you hear him cry out in pain. And he looks down with just complete shock in his eyes and just complete bafflement. Oh, well, hello. And he seems actually to nod almost with a little bit of looking impressed in his eyes.
Stop attacking my friends.
And as you say that, Iron Lumpen, he looks down at you, and you explode in a shower of sparkles and flashing lights and smoke. And standing in your place is the Hempen Lumpen.
Is it my turn?
So Hempen Lumpen, you now see there's this very bloodied-looking large man with 2 hand axes staring down at you with just complete bafflement and confusion in his eyes.
I am sure he's confused because Hempen Lumpen is not standing before him. He's sitting in a little chair on 4 small wheels with handles on the top. And he appears to be wearing a little silver tiara adorned with fake gemstones and a tiny little frilly pink skirt. His Staff of the Woodlands seems to have been painted with glitter. So he looks up, he looks over at this barbarian, says, "Hi, I'm Lumpen." And he looks over at Charles / Varen and Paxton engaged in mortal combat. And he said, "Hi, Charles. What happened to Abigail? Wait, why are you fighting Paxton?" And he shouts, "You don't attack your friends." And he just starts running. His fancy new nose balloons out from his face, inflating to many times the size of his little cloth body, and its weight threatens to pull him over onto the ground, but his arms bulge out suddenly with stuffing-filled muscles and catch him. The rest of his body follows suit, inflating to massive size, and a strange kind of waxy, oily secretion comes out of his canvas skin. The ground begins to shake as he thunders toward his enemy. His button eyes migrate further up his head to make room for this big nose, which is now, his head is as large as a man's torso. And he opens his mouth wide, big enough to chomp a man in half, exposing whale bones, like the kind that corsets used to be made of, sticking out of the seams of his jaws. And he bellows, "He is a hippopotamus. He is not your daddy."
I like it.
Shout out to the one listener who gets that reference. And he charges toward Charles.
All right. Well, it is not your turn yet.
It is not my turn. Wreck my whole thing there.
But
He begins charging toward Charles.
no, we'll say all that. That whole process begins.
All right.
Iron Lumpen was actually taking an opportunity attack,
Oh, I thought he disappeared.
but it was actually at the moment Frederick's turn.
I see.
So Frederick, he's very confused by what's happening right now. He was actually making his way towards the Tolf when he took this attack, and he's going to kind of freak out and just like very confused as all this is going on, and he's going to start swinging. He's going to rage first. It's like an angry fear, and he's going to, in terror and anger, just start swinging at you with his hand axes, Hempen Lumpen.
Bring it.
And one is a 21 to hit.
That hits.
The other is a 21 to hit.
That also.
All right. So on the first one he does 5, and then the second one he does 5. Well, that was weird.
Need to update your random number generator.
Yeah, I know,
It's
for
broken.
real. Looking at you, D&D Beyond. So he does 10 damage to you total with his 2 hand axes,
Hippo Lumpen does not like.
and he kind of wasted his true strike, which was towards the Tolf, but he was so freaked out by this little Lumpen with the pink frills and everything coming in, and then all of a sudden turning into this terrifying bear.
Hippo.
Oh, sorry, this terrifying hippo. At this point, 2 arrows come out once again from the bushes. Seems to be a reoccurring thing. It seems to, whatever kind of bush this is, it seems to definitely be an ambush.
And
Yeah, that's all right. Let's see. First, try and hit you, Paxton. It was on the nat 20, and then it rolled. So a 2 plus 10, I'm assuming that is not going to hit you.
no.
And he is going to flip it around, and he's going to attack you, Hempen Lumpen, and that will be a 26.
Ouch.
And that will deal 6 damage.
All right. This reminds me of a terrible joke
Yeah.
about a cowboy.
Oh,
I'll tell it later.
okay. Perfect. All right. So Paxton, is now your turn, and Charles is almost frothing at the mouth. You see his hand just kind of barely holding on to his arm.
I'm in the home stretch. I'm just going to keep hacking at that hand, trying to completely sever it, because that's, I think, the only chance for getting him to calm down. So first attack is a 14.
A 14 matches, so that will hit.
Okay. It's 10 damage.
All right, and when you do that, he is going to use his reaction to use Hellish Rebuke on you.
Okay. And that does what?
It does 2d10 fire damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. It's a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Dex save. It's a 7.
All right, so that fails, and that will deal 11 fire or burning damage to you.
Okay.
How you looking there, Paxton?
Very pale. Pale and crispy.
Pale and crispy, yeah.
Yeah.
Just getting burned all around.
Yeah. So that was he did that as a reaction on my first attack, right?
Yes,
Okay. 18.
that hits.
9 damage.
His hand is now holding on just by a thread at this point. It's barely, like, his hand is almost completely gone.
Come on, Baron. Come on.
He himself is looking incredibly pale. It is now the Hempen Lumpen's turn. So you turn into a bear, or sorry, not a bear. You turn into a hippopotamus and come roaring at Varen.
Is he prone or is he up right now?
He's standing up right now, but he seems to be swaying. He's having difficulty standing upright.
All right. So I'm ignoring all of the hits on me because I'm in mid-charge toward Varen. And let's attack. Okay, that is a 16 to hit.
That hits.
Right. That does 8 damage, and he needs to make a strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
All right. Ooh, got a -1 to strength. We'll see. So 4 minus 1 is 3.
All right, so he is knocked over. Since Paxton seems to be very focused on his arm, I'm going to try to chomp that arm in half with my giant hippomouth.
Oh gosh.
Okay, that is a 25 to hit.
Yep.
I'm sure it does the job.
Let's see what the damage is.
That is going to be 12 damage.
Hemp and Lumpen, tell me what it's like when you chomp off his arm. Or chomp his hand off of his arm.
All right, so Hippolumpen charges at Varen, slams into him with his enormous hippo head, and stomps on top of his chest with his big hippo feet, then just rears down, his head down, and grabs his mouth in his arm, bites down hard, the whale bones cracking the bones in Varen's wrist, and just rips it off. And he's got a bit of a hand and a bit of sword, or I guess a bit of hand and a whole sword dangling from his mouth. And he looks over at Paxton and kind of waggles his eyebrows like, is this right? Is this what you wanted?
Good job, buddy.
Yeah.
It's not going to control him now, is it? Because that's a terrifying concept.
Yeah, Hemp and Lumpen, all of a sudden you feel this burning rage. Okay. Now, as this happens, so we'll go out of combat here. As this happens, you see out of the bushes emerges Paxton. You actually recognize him from before. It's this elf. He is wearing these like blood red robes. He's the guy that Varen met up with at the Pumpkin Inn back in Veggietown. Yeah, you believe his name was Caltoon. But Caltoon, he emerges from the bushes. He's holding his bow up in the air. Wait, hey, wait, just relax. And he's looking with very worried eyes. And you see, as this happens too, as you hear this scream go out from Varen as his hand is severed, you see Frederick look back with concern as well, and he actually will drop both of his hand axes as he hears this.
The very first thing that Paxton's going to do is try to take his cloak off and put the sword in it, like wrap it up and everything so that no one can grab it.
Yep.
I spit it into your arms.
Yeah.
With the hand still attached.
And Varen is actually, he's going to roll a death saving throw. Because you actually did take away all of his health.
He's probably also bleeding out.
Yes. So wait, a 10 is a success with
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So he has one success in his death saving throw, and yeah, so he's bleeding very profusely from his hand. Atolf just kind of looks on coldly. He doesn't seem to be making any kind of move to assist Varen at all. And the other ones look at Atolf, and when Atolf doesn't do anything, they just kind of both stand down. You see Caltoon, are you going to do anything to help him, or what?
Once Paxton has the sword totally wrapped up, he's going to, because that's like priority, he's going to step down to Varen and cast Spare the Dying. It's going to take him to, he's stabilized, he's not awake, but he's not dying either.
Okay. So you see the blood kind of stops flowing out of his wrist, and he doesn't wake up. You see he's kind of like, his face is obviously in agony and in pain, but he does not seem to be currently dying anymore. Caltoon, he'll run over to Varen and he'll kind of set him up, and he's like checking on him and checking on his wrist to make sure he's all right. And you see Frederick, the big guy, he kind of sighs and then he shrugs his shoulders. Well, you were a bit more of a fight than I was expecting, I'll be honest.
Paxton looks over at Hemp and Lumpen. Is he still in hippo form?
Yeah, I sit down next to the body and cause the ground to shake.
So we're a bit more of a fight than you were expecting, huh? I take it we're not a fight anymore, right?
Yes, well, I'll be honest, I didn't quite even know why we were fighting you to begin with, but it's my old pal Varen, and he said you were a man who needed to be killed, and so I thought I might do the killing.
You know much about Varen's relationship with that sword?
Well, not too much myself. I know that it's been a little different since he got a hold of it. It seems like it's maybe not been the best for him, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's a cursed sword. Now that he's been separated from it, he'll probably go back to normal, but I'm going to be totally honest. I'm a pretty forgiving person, but I don't really want to be around whenever he comes back to consciousness, so Paxton's going to see if through the cloth he can fish out Varen's hand so that he can hand it to Frederick. It was Frederick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to hand Varen's hand to Frederick and be like, you should probably get him back to town and see if you can get this reattached.
Yes, it seems like it might be the best course of action. I have to say, I appreciate you not turning and killing us all now that we've been disarmed. And he grimaces as he says that.
Do you know Varen's mom?
Oh, yes, Madame Bluefire. I'm quite familiar. She is well respected in the city of Two.
Would you pass along a message to her for me whenever you take him back to town?
I will, yes.
Tell her that I really did the best I could to hurt him the least I could to end this fight. You see where I'm coming from, right?
I do, and I might save her some of the details, but I will give her your regards, and I'll let her know that you did your best to avoid violence. I saw you trying to reason with him before.
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And he nods at you, and he'll scoop up Varen, and Caltoon, he'll kind of glare at you, Paxton, but he will slink away with Varen in tow, and they're going to carry him back to the city of Two.
I'll drop out of hippo form back into lumpen form and look up at Paxton. What happened to Charles? I thought we were friends. I was supposed to rip his arm off, right?
Yeah, you did a good job. I appreciate that.
Okay, it can be sewn back on, right?
Yeah, in a manner of speaking. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope so, anyway.
That's good.
You gave them the cursed sword in his hand to take with them?
No, I gave him just the hand.
Just the hand, okay.
I am keeping the cursed sword with me.
All right, and you're keeping it, I assume, all, bundled up and everything?
Yeah, to where it cannot be directly touched.
Yeah. Even just holding it with the sheet over it, you feel it doesn't feel like it's controlling you or anything, but you feel just kind of unrestricted rage just kind of emanating from the thing you're holding.
I want to fight that and try to shove it down to the bottom of my backpack.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's trying to make you feel rage. You feel like it's almost rage directed towards you.
Yeah. Atolf?
Yes.
I mean, honestly, can we just destroy this thing? I don't really know if it's a good idea for us to even carry this thing around. It's pretty dangerous.
I do not know if I am capable myself of destroying it, but I do have some friends who are undercover within the Iron Empire. I could perhaps enlist their services once we've made our way there.
All right, that sounds good to me. How's everybody doing, health-wise? I saw him and Lumpen. You took some hits, right?
Oh, that's when I was a hippo. I'm fine.
Wow.
So how does healing with mending work, actually? I couldn't find the rules for it. It just says it can heal constructs.
Yeah, so...
Or repair constructs. But, how many HP do I get back?
Probably like a D8 or something.
Well, it's a cantrip anyways, so I can just keep doing it until I'm healed, or...
So it says it does, every time you do it, it restores 1d4.
Okay.
It just takes a minute, so it's not a combat spell, because it takes a minute to cast.
Okay.
Yep.
It's nice to be an object.
And Atolf, are you hurting at all?
No, I was not able to attack me.
That's good. And then Paxton goes and once the adrenaline from the combat is kind of flowing away, he's going to go sit down underneath a tree and tend to his wounds.
So you guys take a while to just kind of heal up and kind of just process what you've been through. It was pretty brutal.
Are we going to the Iron Empire now?
Yes.
That's good, because I just learned that I have a kingdom to defend.
I like your dress, Lumpen.
Thank you. Apparently, I'm a princess.
Really?
Whoa!
That's what Abigail told me.
What's a princess?
I don't know, but it comes with a kingdom and a lot of responsibilities. This is my scepter. And I hold up my staff.
Ooh.
My glitter-covered staff.
Wow.
So you're going to become royalty when you marry her?
I'm not married. I'm already a princess.
Oh, okay.
He's engaged to Julie already.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess she'll be a princess too?
Interesting. Where is your kingdom, Lumpen?
Abby didn't tell me that. She just said, "You're a princess," and put this crown on my head.
Wait a minute, Abby?
Abigail, yeah.
Who's Abigail?
She's a girl who picked me up and dressed me up like this.
Is she related to... Is it Master Strombo that was in charge of all you guys?
Master Stromboli.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I just met her on the street.
And she gave you the makeover?
I guess.
Okay.
And she told me I'm a princess.
Whoa.
Atolf, it's amazing, like his eyes just haven't rolled out of his head over there.
That's my throne. And I point at the little stroller.
Yeah.
I've never met royalty before. Should I bow to you?
It's nice.
If you like.
Yeah, Paxton does a very exaggerated curtsy.
I tap him on both shoulders with my staff.
Fancy Napkin Lumpen looks at Paxton and then imitates him. Very sincerely.
Atolf refuses to curtsy.
Are we knighted now?
Sure. You can be knights.
The Knights of Lumpen. It's got a good ring to
The
it.
Knights of the Cloth.
Sir Lumpen. I like the sound of that.
After you've healed up and kind of, brought some joy and some joviality back into the situation, you get back on the road and you make your way onward from the area surrounding the city, leaving a giant number 2 in the road behind you.
Oh man, what a crappy joke.
My daughter won't stop telling that joke after I let her hear this recording.
She loves the number 2 joke.
She loves the giant number 2.
Gotcha.
Paxton,
Yeah?
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
You say this as you're kind of walking along the road now, making your way out from the city.
Where is Charles's hand going to go? Can it talk too?
No, I hope that Charles's hand can be put back onto Charles.
But what if it wants to go somewhere else?
Like Andrew.
Yeah. Andrew is just a hand and he likes to walk around and stuff. Is that why you cut it off?
Did anyone ask Charles's hand what it wants? Because consent is important.
Paxton does not know who Andrew is, right?
We talked about Andrew before.
You did see this weird zombie hand on the boat.
That's right. That's right.
And it seemed to talk to the Lumpens and it gave very weird, vague answers.
Paxton is going to try to explain to the Lumpens that not all hands have free will. Some hands are attached to people, and the people are the ones making the decisions. And
so they're slaves?
No, they don't think for themselves. They're not independent of the person. If you cut them off of the person and you don't reattach them, that hand will die. It needs to be part of the person.
Oh.
Andrew was a special case.
As you're saying this, Atlas is looking down in his hands with a new perspective. Just
have I been oppressing these?
So you guys continue forward until this goes on for about a day or two. You're making your way to the Ardanianel River, and you're kind of going to walk along the coast a little bit looking for a crossing. But as you're walking along one night, so this continue. It's a bit of a couple days journey just to get to the narrower part of the river. And so one night you guys stop to make camp for the night. And what are the watches like?
I mean, Lumpens don't sleep.
That's fair.
So we can just watch.
Yeah, we'll just watch you while you're sleeping, Paxton.
Cool. Can't wait.
Yeah. Atolf says, I do not know if we should just leave the little ragman in charge while we are sleeping.
It's a good point. See, Hemp and Lumpen, do you want to take the first watch with me? And Fancy Napkin Lumpen, you can do the second watch with Atolf, maybe? Or
Sure.
What do you all
We
think?
can do both watches. We're very good at watching.
I see. That's a great point. Okay. Atolf, do you want to sleep first or second?
I will sleep second.
Okay.
I will watch first with the little ragman.
Okay. I'm gonna hit the hay. I'm still feeling pretty wiped, but before I do, I just wanted to say, Atolf, I'm sorry for getting us sidetracked with this whole City of Two thing with Charles. I mean, obviously I couldn't have known what was going to happen, but I should have just stuck to the mission. So, in the future, we're just gonna go straight for it. You know.
Yes, I thank you. It is very good to hear that. Yes, but it is forgiven. You do not need to worry.
Appreciate it.
I sidle over to Lumpen. I don't see any hay, do you?
No.
Okay.
Adolf just walks away at this point. Atlas, though, and Gorman, they both go and they kind of make their camp. These two like elven sellswords, they make their camp a little bit away from you guys. They put over their mats and start to get ready for bed. But Atolf will kind of start to walk around and patrol a little bit.
Paxton is just going to go straight to sleep.
So Lumpens, roll a perception check for me.
Okay, can I play a Song of Rest?
Sure.
While everyone's going to sleep to help them heal up?
Yeah, I was thinking Mike hasn't had to compose enough music for this episode, so...
I'm not actually going to play some music, just like narratively we can say he's strumming away on his spoons.
Okay, I like it.
To help everyone relax.
And nothing as relaxing as a pair of spoons.
Yeah, just a little clickety-clack of those spoons going.
Yeah.
Do we use active or passive perception?
Well, you're on watch, so I'll say you can both use your active perception.
Oh, what if my passive is infinitely better than my active roll?
How does that even work?
Well, the passive is 17, but I rolled a 4 plus 7 for my
Okay, well, I think can your active perception, can it be less than your passive?
Yeah, I think what's his name at some point said
Jeremy,
is
what's his name? Yeah.
I think Mike Merles or something. Yeah, he said your passive is effectively your minimum.
Yeah.
Depending on circumstances.
Yeah, so that's what I thought. So we'll just say you roll a 17.
All right.
Yeah. I rolled the same as my passive, so it's 9.
Okay. So, fancy napkin Lumpen, you're just over there, happily.
I have my eyes closed, humming and hitting my spoons
Still
together.
humming his music.
Yeah. Well, Hemp and Lumpen, you notice Atolf, after about an hour or two, as he's been watching, he pulls out like this, what appears to be like almost like a little toy chest. It's like, it fits inside of his hand, and he seems to be fiddling with it as he's kind of looking out over the horizon and scanning for enemies.
I clamber over to him. Hi, Atolf. What's that?
As he notices you and he kind of looks at where you're looking, he very quickly puts the chest away in his pocket. Says, "This is none of your concern."
Okay. I go back.
What are you guys talking about?
Oh, Atolf has a little chest.
Oh, Atolf, what is it?
It is none of your concern.
Oh, okay.
So the next couple hours pass uneventfully, and
I am using Druidcraft to basically plant seeds to grow hay.
Sure. So you're building hay so Paxton can hit the hay next time.
Yes.
I love
Next
it.
time we're around this area.
Yeah.
And I'm floating over and using prestidigitation to squeeze water out of my rag body over top as I'm floating above it.
I love it. So you guys are successfully, bringing a little micro ecosystem into this non-native part. But eventually, Atolf will come over and wake you up, Paxton, and he'll nod at you, and he'll start to make his way over towards the camp. He's going to go put over his mat towards where Atlas and Gormund are.
I had a dream you were messing with the box. No, I'm kidding. I don't say that.
Hi, Paxton.
Hey, Lumpen. I guess I'm ready to start my shift. Anything happened so far?
No. Atolf had a little chest that he was being very secretive about, but he said it wasn't our business, so we just started planning this hay for you to hit.
Oh, cool. You know what that phrase means, right?
It's like a cleric training?
Yeah, is it for punching?
Yeah. And then he goes over and he starts punching at the hay.
Oh no! You didn't even give it a chance to grow.
It's still seedlings.
Should I stop?
Yes.
Have mercy.
Okay.
Wait till it's older.
Then it's fine.
Paxton and Lumpens, you guys can roll some more perception checks for me.
Alrighty.
19.
15.
9 again?
Paxton and Hempen Lumpen. At a certain point, it's been about an hour or two during you guys' watch, and you do see a little light out in the woods. Just a little light, kind of a small distance away from your camp.
I'm going to keep my eye on it and see if it gets closer.
It doesn't. It seems to just be this flickering, and after a while of watching it, you see it appears to be some sort of maybe a campfire, a little ways away.
Oh, there might be some people there.
There might be.
Maybe they're friends.
Yeah.
Let's go join them. And I start walking over.
What kind of animals can you turn into, Hempen Lumpen?
I can turn into anything that is challenge rating 2 or lower and can not fly.
I was wondering, how is he going to describe it?
Yeah.
I can go invisible.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Would you want to turn invisible and Hempen Lumpen you turn into some sort of small
A
animal?
tiger?
No. No, not a tiger.
A wolf? A bear?
I was thinking more like a squirrel or a rabbit.
Oh, okay.
Something that wouldn't raise their suspicion, because we don't know if they're friends or foes. We should find out.
Okay. I start walking toward the campfire, and you can see my body just slowly morph, little the pointy ears sprout out of my head, and my legs sort of puff up, and a little cotton ball tail poofs up behind me, and I still look completely like a stuffed animal, but I am, moving.
Gotcha. And then you're turning invisible, Napkin Lumpen?
First he says, Paxton, can you see me?
Can I see him?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I can. Did you forget to turn invisible?
He casts the spell, and then he asks again, Can you see me?
Who said that?
I did. Lumpen.
Good job, bud. You did it. I cannot see you.
So I should follow Lumpen?
Yeah, go over there and see how many people are there, what they look like, and if they're talking about something.
Okay, and then what?
And then come back to me and tell us what you found.
Okay.
So you guys make your way over towards this light and this fire, and after kind of going towards it through the bushes, it's a little bit strange, actually. You see there's just a single man sitting there. He seems to be roasting some sort of pheasant or something over a fire, and he is dressed in all white robes, and he has a white piece of cloth wrapped around his eyes. As you guys approach the clearing that he's in, he turns to you, and he almost looks directly at you, Napkin Lumpen, and he smiles a little bit.
Hi, I'm Lumpen.
He nods at you, Napkin Lumpen, and then he will turn to you, Hempen Lumpen, and he will break off a piece of the meat that's cooking over the fire, and he will extend it out to offer it to you.
All right. I hop on over, and I open my cloth mouth, and I go nom 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 on the meat, which just basically it flops around in the little cloth pads between the top and bottom of my mouth, and then I let it fall.
Yeah.
I say, "Thank you."
That smells wonderful.
He does not seem to be taken aback by you speaking to him as a little, cloth rabbit. He smiles at you, and he will gesture towards the meat and basically, making it clear that you're welcome to have more if you'd like.
Thanks. I don't have anywhere to put it, though. But I could bring it to my friends. They're over there. And I point toward our camp.
Are you a chef?
He shakes his head at you. However, he does make a gesture like a bit, he'll kind of puff his shoulders out like a big guy or whatever, and then he'll gesture with his head, kind of gesturing his head towards himself, basically seeming to communicate that to bring the big guy over.
You want to see Paxton?
He nods at you.
Okay. And I just run over back to Paxton. Paxton.
Yeah?
There's a guy there. He's got cloth over his eyes, and he wants to see you.
Cloth over his eyes. That sounds familiar. I've seen someone with cloth over their eyes before, right?
Yeah, so you've actually seen him multiple times.
You've seen Iron Lumpen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw him at back in VeggieTown. He was there 1 second and then he disappeared the next. And then you also saw him as you were being carted out of the ruins after being captured. He was walking along the road towards the City of Two. And
we never saw him? Just Paxton?
You might have seen him the second time.
Okay.
But he was just kind of walking along.
He has meat. Do you want some meat?
I think I'm more curious about what he has to say.
He doesn't talk.
Okay, then how do you know he wanted to talk to me?
Because he did this gesture, and I mimic the gesture.
Huh. It seems like he's following us, so I should really find out what he wants. I don't want to interrupt a Tolf's sleep, because he hasn't gotten a chance for a long rest yet, and he needs his spell slots back, but,
Well, it's been a couple days since you guys.
Oh, okay.
You guys were there, but I mean, he did just go to sleep after being on watch for a while.
He's a handsome guy, and he needs his beauty sleep.
Yeah,
exactly.
You hear from right behind you, much closer than you expected. I can watch him.
That's great. I appreciate that. But let's see if Atlas has had plenty of sleep at this point, right?
Yeah, Atlas has been asleep for a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk over to where I saw Atlas set up his camp and kind of shake him awake and say, "Hey, bud, can you do me a solid?"
Yeah. What can I help you with?
We got a situation. There is someone camping pretty close to here, and they say they want to talk to me, and I don't want to leave a Tolf and the rest of the camp undefended. Can you take over for my watch while I go talk to him?
Yeah. This should be all right. Yeah, I could do that.
Right, Paxton is going to nervously start walking over to that campsite.
As you leave, you see him. He kind of walks over towards a Tolf, and he kind of looks at you. He doesn't seem to be waking up a Tolf yet, but he kind of walks towards him as you walk away from him.
Okay.
Paxton, you make your way up. Finally, you all three cross back into this clearing, and you see this man. He's sitting at his little campfire, and when you enter the clearing, Paxton, he actually stands up, and he'll smile at you. And he was wearing kind of a cloak, this white cloak over his white robes, and he pulls back his cloak, and you see he's actually an elf, or at least a half-elf. The wrapping on his head seems to go all the way around, like it seems to be tied in the back. He looks at you even through this wrapping covering his eyes.
Can I do an insight or perception or even a medicine check to see if these wrappings look like cultural or medicinal?
Sure. So that would be maybe a medicine check?
That's a nat 20 plus 9, a 29.
Okay, yeah, you can tell they kind of hang loose on him a little bit, so they don't seem to be medicinal at all.
Huh. Like he's trying to hide something.
It does not seem like he's holding, his eyes have been removed or anything like that. It seems more like he's just wearing it for some other reason over his head.
But he can't see through it, right?
It seems to be pretty thick cloth, so it would be very surprising if he could see through it.
Okay. Paxton is handling this situation very cautiously. Does not know whether this guy is a friend or foe. He seems like he's a friend, but could be a trap.
Yep.
Paxton's just going to look at him.
He seems to almost chuckle without really making too much of a noise. It's kind of an odd sound when he does chuckle, but he motions over towards the meat, and then he actually will sit back down and continue to turn the meat over to make sure it cooks all the way through.
Paxton's going to sit down across from him and say, "So, you requested to speak with me?"
He holds up one finger, like a wait a minute, and then he rifles through a bag sitting next to him. You see his staff is also sitting next to him on the ground. And then he pulls out what appears to be a chalkboard and a piece of chalk. And he will write on the chalkboard, and he'll turn it over to you, and it says, "Yes, thank you for coming."
Paxton looks at the chalkboard and looks at him and nods and says, what did you want to speak to me about?" And while he's writing the answer, Paxton's going to be eyeballing his staff Is it like a weapon, a walking stick, a religious item?
It definitely seems well used and very smooth, but it doesn't seem to be like a weapon or anything like that. It just seems to be more like a walking stick.
Does it seem like a magical staff at all?
I mean, you can roll an Arcana if you'd like to see if there's any kind of magicalness about it.
10.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, it just seems to be a pretty normal stick. Seems that he likes it a lot because there's almost like grooves towards the top of it where his hand seems to be fond of resting.
I introduce myself to the staff.
The staff does not respond. He's going to be very upset if you animate the staff. But so your question, Paxton, was what? I'm sorry.
What did you want to speak to me about?
He nods and he looks down at his chalkboard and he turns it back over to you and it says, "You've been very busy, Paxton."
Paxton nods.
And after you do that, he'll turn the board back around to him and then he'll write something else and he'll turn it back around to you and it says, "That was unfortunately very gruesome with Varen."
Paxton nods and he says, I wouldn't have preferred for it to be so gruesome, but it was less gruesome than killing him. And it was the most humane way I saw to end the fight quickly.
He nods at you and he turns his board back to him and he writes on it and he turns it to you and he says, "That's true. I'm sorry that you wish to be a man of peace and yet so often are forced to be a sword."
It is unfortunate, but I feel necessary.
He nods and he takes the board back, and then when he turns it back to you, this time it says, "Unfortunately, Paxton, I must once again ask you to be the sword."
Paxton's eyes go wide and he looks at this guy with surprise, like does not know what to expect next.
I can turn him into an animal, but I don't think I can turn him into a sword.
Yeah.
He looks at you, Paxton, for a long while, staring. It's kind of unnerving to kind of be stared at by someone with like a cloth covering their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually he turns his board back around and he writes on it, "I'm here to talk with you. I work on behalf of Foresight."
What'd I miss?
We killed the guy at the campfire.
Oh no!
Or at least a half elf.
Which half?
So his right half is definitely the elven half.
One roundy or one pointed?
Yeah, but he has...
So he's half elf. What's the other half? Oh boy.
Foresight, the dead god.
The dead god.
Yeah. Foresight's got people even inside the bottle, huh?
He must have planned ahead.
Yeah. The Foresight is dead. So that's one of the things you know. So it's a bit confusing to hear him say that. But we'll figure out what he's talking about next time.
How can he be an agent of Foresight when he has no sight?
Oh, that's terrible.
All right, my joke was so terrible you didn't even get it.
Yeah, wait, so what was your joke, Brandon?
He planned ahead.
Oh, yeah. He had good foresight.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you right now that I'm going to request of you and Mike an info dump on what Paxton would know about Foresight, both like stuff that's been revealed in the game and also from my memory pool experience.
Sure. Well, I mean, I can go ahead and tell you a little bit now, and then it might be good for the listeners to hear.
Sure.
So what remember of Foresight is that he was this god, the only named god within your world, and he had written these messages throughout the world. You found all of them written on the Eastern Bubble, along with several other messages written by what appears to be other gods. Now you know them to be the gods outside of the world. Like there was, I can't remember all the different names, like the Sky Father, and I can't remember their names.
The hero, the healer, and the Seafoam Wanderer, and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And so there was all those different gods, but Foresight's message was the most deeply carved into this giant rock on the Eastern Bubble. And it had talked about some things of basically once the river breaks, you only have a few more years. and like other big, huge warnings and stuff like that, and like to be kind to one another and stuff like that. But then one of them had said, like, I loved you, but basically I gave my life for you. So basically, whoever Foresight was, it was very clear that he had died and somehow had given up his life to protect maybe whoever it was he's writing to, or the members of World 83. There was a cult of Foresight at some point, but from your knowledge, it seems to have pretty much fallen away after a certain point. Like, it's been, a while since there was any known members of the cult of Foresight.
And I'm guessing Foresight was probably less of a force outside the bottle, being dead.
Yes. I don't know if the party would have told you about it, but when they went and visited the gods, and when talking with them, they talked about Foresight and talked about him being dead as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they talked about how they didn't really like him.
Right. I remember that.
That's what you know so far about Foresight, is that he is this god who claims to be dead, who wrote these messages inside of your world. And basically, it would seem like he was trying to protect you and basically stop your world from ending.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for joining, you guys. I appreciate it. I loved you guys' banter. I feel like you guys did a great job. I loved that I didn't really have to do too much. I loved your little side conversations.
I was never sure whether it was the NPCs rolling their eyes and acting frustrated, or you.
No, it was. I really enjoyed it. Like, there was part of me that was like, I was like, all right, I want to try and get to this part, but then there was another part. I was like, oh man, this is so great though. This is so good. I love the little cute conversations between Paxton and the Lumpens.
Hemp and Lumpen's, the descriptions of Hemp and Lumpen's transformations makes me feel like I really need to up my game in terms of like radio talk.
Leave the body horror to me.
Yeah.
Do you come in prepared, Brandon, or
No.
do you just come up with all of them on the fly?
More or less, yeah. I wrote up the hippo description while I was waiting to have a turn, but
Yeah.